Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you might be on this planet. I am Henry Weinreich. I am your host, and you have landed on Henry and Friends Live right around the globe. So I'll just repeat that again. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. You are on Henry and Friends Live right around the globe. I have to tell you, we have an extraordinary show here for you today. If this is your first time either listening to us via our audio podcast or watching us live right now, and this is your first time, we absolutely welcome you. If you are a returning listener or viewer or watching us live now, we are thrilled that you are returning to see us. We love our growing audience, and it's exciting to see how Henry and Friends Live podcast is growing. Now, just a reminder, we are a lifestyle and entertainment podcast, and weekly we look at different issues. We look at current affairs. We have my friends coming on from all over the globe, and this is no exception this morning here in Sydney, Australia, Sunday morning at 8:30 a.m. in fact. The whole point is that we look at things through the shoes of either our guests, or in this case, this show is going to be through the shoes of celebrities. This episode, we are going to be talking about hot Hollywood. Now, it's kind of that time of the year where you start counting down. I mean, blink and it's November, blink again and it's Christmas and Hanukkah. So we thought that we'd do a little bit of a countdown today with two fabulous correspondents, one in Mexico and one in the United Kingdom, that I'm going to be bringing on in a moment. We are talking about the hottest celebrity news of 2021. And boy, do we have a lot to talk about. We have a brilliant discussion panel that you're going to absolutely love. But before we do that, I think it's time that we did an absolute little countdown. Henry and Friends Live right around the globe. And here we go. Welcome back. You're watching Henry and Friends Live podcast right around this globe, wherever you might be. We have a fantastic celebrity panel here. Robert Pulaski, who has worked with quite a few celebrities, which is going to drop a few names in a moment. He's in Puerto Vallarta, and it's exactly 3:32 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. And coming live to us from London, England, is the vivacious Rubina Latif, who is not just a spatial innovator, but has just been voted in as a skinfluencer. So first of all, I'm going to do it by by time zone here. Welcome, Robert. How are you? Nice to see you. How are you?
Hi, Henry. Hello from Puerto Vallarta. How are you?
Hey, well, you look, I mean, talking about hot Hollywood, you're looking hot, Robert.
It's the local way. What can I say? It's how we start our day here in Puerto Vallarta.
Just a little bit of a name drop. I mean, I know that you've dealt with quite a few, you've had passing ships, shall we say, with some celebrities. Can we dare to ask you who they might be? A few of them, a few names?
Well, yeah, some of those ships were sailing and some I jumped on and stayed on. But my friends who know me well know that several years ago in London, I met Joan Rivers, and we had a wonderful conversation and a humorous conversation about things in life. And she befriended me and asked for my number, and we became very good friends throughout the years.
And the rest is history. Well, this is an interesting connection because the rest is history. But talking about connections, Rubina Latif, you've just been voted in as a skinfluencer. Welcome to Henry and Friends Live podcast at exactly 9:34 p.m. on a Saturday evening. How are you, my love?
I am all right. Good evening or good night from London. I am very well, guys. Nice to see you both.
How has your week been, Rubina? You were telling me you were flat chat. You've been sending pictures from Carnaby Street and Regent Street. And London is lit up. It's lit.
London is Twinkle Fest at the moment, honestly.
Is it?
Twinkle, twinkle. And the whole world, it feels like the whole world is in central London. It has been so busy. Last Saturday, I was working and I looked out of my little beauty room window at Carnaby Street, and I actually went downstairs and said, is there a concert going on Carnaby Street? Because there were so many people in Liberty. It's
everywhere. Talking about sparkling, that's a fantastic segue into this week's topic, hot celebrities for 2021 and their celebrity news. So are you guys ready for me to throw out some questions to both of you? And let's just count down some of the hottest news that's happening right now in Hollywood. You guys ready?
Yes.
Let's go.
Let's go. Okay, well, the first one I have to talk about really and truly is the amazing Britney Spears. Now, can you believe it? It was 13 years that she was on a conservatorship, 13 years. And the interesting thing is, E! Online reported that this is the first time since 2008 that she will be able to buy a house, get married, vote, have another child, drive, have access to her money, visit a doctor, see friends, have a lawyer, hire a lawyer. So my question is this. We know that Free Britney was an amazing movement, but do you think that the Free Britney movement has had its day, or do you actually think there's going to be more to it and that actually it's going to impact the world on a very different way? I'm going to draw up a video and let's have a little watch of Britney Spears and Lady Gaga talking about the Free Britney movement.
You know, I've been watching this for a long time, and the way that she was treated in this business was really wrong. And the way that women are treated in the music industry is something that I wish would change. I think that she will forever be an inspiration to women and to people all over the world. Time and the way that
removing her. Okay, so my question to you guys is, do you see this? And I'm going to ask Rubina first. Is this just a flash in the pan with the Free Britney movement, or do you actually see things happening on a much broader basis and a broader scale?
I think this is part of many things that have been going on, recently. We've had, various issues coming up regarding the treatment of women in show business. We all know that this has been going on for a couple of years. This whole thing with Britney, see, for me, it's the reasons why she was put onto this conservatorship. It was at a time when she was having real difficulties. She was having huge difficulties in her personal life. She was getting divorced. Her children were possibly being taken away from her. She was 26 years old, a huge amount of pressure for a lady so young. And she went into this industry, when she was 15, 16 years old?
So your answer is that you think it's going to be more of an impact than just the movement. Is that correct?
I think it's going to have an impact. I think it's definitely got a lot of people thinking 13 years. She's not allowed to get married. She wasn't allowed to have children. I read somewhere that she would have to get permission to stop taking contraception. I mean, that was just absolutely incredible.
So I'm going to switch over to Robert Pileski, who's in Puerto Vallarta. Thank you, Rubina. So you say, yes, it's going to have a much bigger impact. Robert, is it really? Is this just like, how Hollywood is, and they just like sort of, do a little bit of wind and then it sort of fizzles out? What are your thoughts about that?
Right. Well, we do have two different things going on here. I mean, the first thing I would look at would be the period that she was under the censorship for 13 years. The amount of time it would take for her to regenerate where she should be with herself and keep herself intact and become the responsible entertainer and human being and mother and wife, and become more accountable for her actions. So why that period lasted so long, I do not know. But I certainly think it was a good thing. She could have lost everything. I mean, she really could have lost everything that she's created. So it didn't seem fair at the time. And I know people went for the woman angle, but I think under the circumstances that she was working under, I thought it was the right thing to do for her family. And the end result is what we're looking for. And I think that's why people are going to follow up with it, because they want to see the end result. They want to see what they get from this. And she'll come back stronger than ever. And I think everybody will be happy and move on.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I think that seems to be an international sort of consensus that Britney is really going to start freeing herself on so many levels, and the Free Britney movement is going to morph and, sort of really go through with, Me Too. And it's the sort of like the young kids movement towards, what we're going to see. So I think that's very, very interesting. I think the next question I want to talk to you guys about is, let me see. Yes. Madonna. So interestingly enough, and I want your opinions on this, there's so much from Madonna. She's known as the number one queen of pop around the world, according to Billboard. However, recently, and also according to Billboard, the issue was that her recent piece of art, which is Madam X, went in at number one and dropped to number 77 in the chart in 1 week. My question is, do you think Madonna's recent fall on the charts is fueled by her over-eccentricity, or do you think she's got outdated messaging? What do you think, Robert?
Do not go there with me and Madonna, because it's about Madonna. Her last show was really a theater show. It wasn't like a stadium concert tour. It wasn't a high volume tour. It catered to her base fans in a very different way. It was a lot more personable. And I think she benefited from it because it was on her checklist of things to do, because Madonna's very creative. If she wants to come back to number one, all she has to do is go back to stadium concerts and get back into every country on the planet, and everyone is going to be there for her. So I don't look at Madam X as being anything that really is shutting her down. It's just one of her many reinventions, and she'll be back, and she'll be bigger and better than ever.
Rubina, we're having fun with your cat today. Tell me something. Are you on the same lines as Robert, which is basically it was a piece of art? She's always ahead of the game, or do you think honestly that basically her messaging is a little bit dated? What do you think?
I think I'm with Robert on this one. I think she is an incredible lady, 39 years in the pop industry, which we all know is so fickle, ever changing. I think she is incredible. She always puts her mark on things. She will do her own thing. Like Robert said, if she wants to go to number one, she'll do something. I think what happened with this was, I think there was instances where the tour tickets weren't selling that well. I think there were instances where they actually had to cancel some shows because she had injuries. So she might want to consider maybe the fact that, she isn't as young as what she used to be, but fair play to her. She'll do it. Madonna's always reinventing, creating, putting her mark on things. She'll do something.
Let me just get back to all three of us. Hold on, everybody. And we're back. So my question is, so what we're both saying is people are basically throwing Madonna a little bit under the bus at the moment, but in bottom line is we're going to see her coming back bigger and better, because she is the queen of pop, and she's also the queen of reinvention. Yes. Here's another one as we're coming to 2 minutes before the quarter mark, and we'll be talking about what's happening next weekend. Thoroughly enjoying it. For all those people who have just joined us, we are talking about the hottest celebrity news in Hollywood right now, and what's trending and how it impacts the world. Now, this is a really interesting one. So this is actually Sarah Jessica Parker, and I think it's a very, very interesting one, because basically, I think you're both aware, because we had a little bit of a chat about this in the green room before you came on. Sarah Jessica Parker and Andy Cohen have gone through what we call a grey hair gate. And basically what happened was that they were sitting together, and there's Sarah Jessica Parker starting to show grey in her hair. Andy Cohen, who's 30 years old, has got a full shock of grey hair. And what did actually the media pick up? They picked up something which is unbelievable. They picked up on the notion that in actual fact, she's got greying hair. And it's really incredulous. So my question is, do you think that in actual fact, ageism against women is one of the most insidious factors in bullying as we have stand today? I'm just going to play you a little clip. Here we go.
Markle is proudly showing off her gray roots, and to heck with the snarky comments. This photo of the 56-year-old actress out to lunch with her good pal Bravo TV's Andy Cohen is going viral. There's so much misogynistic chatter that would never happen about a man, SJP tells a December issue of Vogue. What am I going to do about it? Stop aging? Disappear? Appearing on the Drew Barrymore show, Cohen came to her defense.
All the articles were Sarah Jessica Parker's she's going gray and she looks old, and it was insanity. And here she is sitting next to me, who's gray, and people just missed the mark totally.
So people missed the mark totally. What do you think, Rubina, on that actual topic?
You know what upsets me is I bet it's mainly women that are making these comments about her hair. Great, embrace the grey. I'm embracing the grey. In my culture, it's a privilege to grow old. It really is a privilege to grow old. In many cultures, it's a privilege to grow old. I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. It could have been a grey hair. It could have been, a wrinkle here and there. I'm not surprised with.
Robert, what do you think about that? Sorry to cut you off there. What do you think? Do you think Rubina's right?
Well, when I first saw this, I kind of had an idea. It was a little bit of their ideology behind it. I think she did it on purpose. We're waiting for the new Sex and the City. We're waiting for the new Just Like That. And having known her stylist in Los Angeles, he did both Sarah and Matthew Broderick. She could have easily, she knows when she goes out in public, what to do. And I think there was a little bit of intention behind this. And they wanted to kind of create a conversation because Sex and the City is coming back to the reality of who she is as a human being. And that's what she looks like as a human being. And I think they did it on purpose. And it's working because it's viral.
And here we are talking about it. That is absolutely, I never thought of that, guys. So on one side, Rubina is saying, well, actually, what's fueled this whole grey hair gate between Andy Cohen and Sarah Jessica Parker is possibly fueled by women, which annoys her greatly. And you're saying, Robert, no way. That's actually a publicity stunt. It's viral. We're talking about it. I get it. I want you to wait behind the green room because we have an amazing guest coming up next week. Thank you all for watching us. I'm going to put you back there for a moment, and I'm going to talk to you all about what's coming up next week. We have an amazing guest by the name of Jane Marshall. And, as we come towards the end of the year, we really think about and we talk about, I'll just turn that off for a moment. We're going to talk about, all the things that we start thinking about when we have the year roundup. So basically we think about, the countdowns, but we also think about what we've actually achieved over the year. I've got to tell you that this guest, as we speak, after 2 years, is actually having her book being printed, and it is an extraordinary book called The Naked Truth About Breast Cancer. But our guest is actually going to talk about an even broader issue, if there's such a thing, and that is perseverance. How do you what does it take for you to get there? Now, we had Jane Marshall on earlier, right in the beginning of our season, and so it's going to be really amazing for us to welcome her back to Henry and Friends Live podcast. But let's have a little look at Jane Marshall for next weekend. You really must make sure you are here for it.
Yeah, it feels so classic. You and me, the magic. And I know we have it. 'Cause it feels so classic. 'Cause it feels.
Jane Marshall with Robert in the back having a dance. Robert, you look actually really hot, Hollywood, but also would you like to take your jacket off? How hot is it over there, Puerto Vallarta?
It's still early afternoon. It's 84 degrees, but it is a beautiful 84 degrees. So I'm happy to be here. And whether I'm in a suit or a hat, it's fine.
Oh, fantastic. You're a cool cat. I love it. What I want to do is actually get stuck into an interesting topic as we have 11 minutes left. It is divisive. Love her, don't love her. We don't use the word hate on our show, but she is definitely cutting a chisel right down the middle of people all over the world, and that would have to be Meghan Markle. Now, it has been rumored that Princess, what is it? Princess, is it Princess? Princess Markle? Yes, Princess
She's a
Meghan
Duchess.
Markle.
Isn't she a Duchess as well?
Duchess. Thank you. Robert from America.
Thanks, Robert. Thank you. You clearly know more than me.
Yeah,
From a Duchess from London, Rubina, how could I,
So the thing is that the point of the conversation in Hot Hollywood News, thank you all for joining us, is the issue that Meghan Markle actually has political aspirations and inspirations, and she wants to inspire the world. And so interestingly enough, she recently actually was on the Ellen DeGeneres show, which in its own right is quite controversial, as we know. So I'm just going to get a little bit of a snippet here on her at Ellen. And so I want to ask you, is this just all publicity, or is she really heartfelt and she really does want to change the world? Let's have a little look.
So you said the last talk show you did was like, I don't know, another decade ago, but you used to come to this lot to audition all the time.
Oh my gosh, completely. I would park at gate 3 and then I would scoot on over, and what was so nice is the security guards here would always say, break a leg, we hope you get it. So to drive in today was very different.
But you auditioned that often that they knew you to say break a leg?
I think they probably said it to everybody. That's how nice they were.
Yeah, I see. So your car that you used to drive to auditions was a very special car.
Yes, it had a life of its own. So I had this very, very old Ford Explorer Sport, and at a certain point, the key stopped working on the driver's.
And I think that's a nice understanding of Meghan Markle. As the sun is shining on Robert's vista, I have a question, first of all, for you, Rubina. You're British, obviously. What's your thought about Meghan Markle? Will she get there? Will she become the president of the United States of America? What's your thoughts?
I want her to come here and be prime minister in the UK. I don't want her to be prime minister in America. Come back, Meghan. We love you, or I love you. Come back, Meghan. Come back.
Wow. And Robert, stay in America or go to England? What should she do?
Hey, look, considering what America's been through in the last few years, I say go for it. I love her. She's so authentic. I mean, she's sharing a story about her real life situation at the studio lots, driving her car, and the guards rooting for her. I mean, she's so down to earth. She's so real and natural. So I say go for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's so interesting, because I was surprised that you were going to give that kind of answer. But as I say, it's really, really divisive. I mean, I've been getting in questions and comments, which I'm sorry that we're not going through because there's so much going on my switchboard at the moment. But we promise you that we're going to answer all your questions at the end of this show. And welcome for all of those viewing Hot Hollywood. We're looking at the latest Hot Hollywood gossip and news for 2021. I'm surprised, but it's a really interesting perspective, and I appreciate that from both of you. Now, here comes controversy. We love controversy. Hot Hollywood gossip, news of 2021. I know you love it, Rubina. I know you love it, Robert. Controversy. So this one comes from left field, okay? Because we all, and I don't know what kind of ploy this is, but we're going to talk about the coupling of Kourtney Kardashian and Travis Barker. Now, let me take you back. Of course, we all know that she was with Ivy League, fresh-brushed, fresh-faced Scott Disick. I think their marriage lasted about 6 years, something like that, which is long for Hollywood, of course. And interestingly enough, she's now engaged to Travis Barker. No problem. Travis Barker is a full-on rock and roller, and he is the drummer of a band called Blink-182, if my facts from Entertainment Tonight are correct. However, the issue is, and the question I'm going to ask you both is it a publicity stunt, or will Kourtney Kardashian's brand be actually tarnished by her association with the gorgeous Travis Barker? All I can say is the best way to answer this is let's take a look.
Travis Barker just continue to push the boundaries of PDA. The couple, who got engaged back in October after dating for about 10 months, turned up the heat while attending Simon Hook's wedding on November 13th. But of course, we can't expect anything less from the two lovebirds. Kourt and Travis definitely haven't shied away from packing on the PDA ever since they went public with their relationship. Now, to celebrate the newlyweds, Kourtney and Travis dressed to impress in matching black head-to-toe fits. Kourtney captioned the Instagram pic, quote, "going to the chapel." In Travis's response, he said, and we quote, "our turn next." Both Kourtney and Travis shared behind-the-scenes clips of their friend's lavish wedding, and at one point, the two shared an intimate moment during the reception, with Kourtney straddling Travis as his band's hit single.
Okay, it's a straddling where I have to stop because it's a family show here.
That's a normal night out in Croydon, I'll have you know.
That's a normal night in Croydon. Unbelievable. So I think the question has to be, and I'm going to put it over to Mr. Robert first. Robert, what's going on there?
Nothing says take your melatonin and go to bed other than the Kardashians. I mean, they put me to sleep. I've never been a big fan of hers or follower of hers. I will say her mother. I have a photo of her mother. Kris Jenner. Can you see it?
Yes.
She was a flight attendant for American. She worked out of LaGuardia Airport, and she met Robert Kardashian on a flight, and the rest is history. But to each their own. You know, they're kids of celebrities, and they've become their own independent moneymaker. So to stay in the news is really the goal for her, and you know what? It's fine. It's her choices.
Thanks, Robert. Rubina, what do you think?
See, with the Kardashians, it's like, who's having the most sex? Who's the sexiest? Who's like really out there? So I think this is just it. You know, Kim's had a lot of the kind of sexiness. She's the sexiest one. She's the one having the most incredible sex. And now it's Kourtney's turn. Kourtney's with this edgy man, you know, all these PDAs, you know, you can, you know.
What's a PDA? What's a PDA?
Public displays of affection. You know, people are looking and thinking, oh my God, you know, I bet they're getting home and ripping each other's clothes off, and they're probably not. They're probably getting into their PJs and drinking cocoa, and it's, you know, it's just how the Kardashians are. They sell sex.
Well, it was 2002. Yeah, 2002 is when she had the sex film go viral, and that really and like, you know. If any of us made a sex film, I mean, it would go nowhere. It would, you know, blow up anybody's laptop probably.
So you're not surprised. Well, I've got a comment from Jeffrey Alvin in New York. What I think that is becoming hot in Hollywood is that prominent actors and directors are using their power for good by demanding inclusion. Writers in their contracts for films advocating for inclusion and diversity in films. So I think what Jeffrey's saying there is, in actual fact, we're seeing more substance. We're seeing absolute more substance. We have a comment from Michelle Roth in New York City. Love seeing the panel from different parts of the world with different aspects. I agree. I tell you, the shocker one for me, Michelle Roth, was actually the comment that actually Rubina said, which was we should actually have Meghan Markle become the Prime Minister of England. I love it. That's a good question. I've got now moving over to San Antonio, Callie Williamson. Robert, have you met Britney?
Oh, I would definitely put her on a list of people to meet, but no, I have not. She's from Louisiana. She's from my neck of the woods. Big fan of hers, and she really has always stayed low profile, even traveling out in public. She doesn't go out a lot.
We've got Jeffrey Alvin, Blink. What is that? Blink 185. Thank you. That's Travis Barker's drumming band. Look, I got the 18 right, so thank you, Jeffrey, for that. We can really appreciate that.
Jeffrey's always on it.
In Melbourne. Good morning, beautiful people. And I tell you what, we're doing really well with timing. I'm going to put us off screen, and I'm going to ask both of you to come back in a moment and tell me what is the thing from Hot Hollywood, from the news that we've just gone through, that you'd like to impart as the thing that you think is going to impact on the world the most. So your opinion from all the people we've discussed, whether it's Britney, whether it's Madonna. Is it going to be, let me give you my list. Hold on, where's my list on? I guess there's a lot going on here. So who's going to impact on the world the most for 2022? Is it Britney, Madonna, Sarah Jessica Parker, Kourtney and Travis, or Meghan Markle. I'll invite you to come back in literally a few minutes. So that's an interesting question I think I have to ask everybody. I hope you enjoyed this. This is a light-hearted entertainment show this weekend. We're 29 and 15 into the end of the show. So we've got literally 45 seconds for this view. Let's bring it back. Hold on, I have to bring it back. Here we bring it back. I'll tell you what, we're doing well. Okay, you guys. First of all, we'll do a penultimate answer from Mr. Robert Pulaski. Thank you for joining us. By the way, you can join him on Instagram, Robert_Pulaski, Pelaski, in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. Who's going to be the celebrity that impacts on us most 2022?
Well, you're going to kill me, but you know Adele's having her moment right now. So I got to throw some Adele in there because she just did a brilliant interview with Oprah Winfrey. She did a great concert in Los Angeles. So if we predicate it by that, I think of the list that we have, whoever does the next live concert tour, they're going to get all the attention. Whoever goes out there after the COVID, they're going to take the show away. And whoever goes first is going to keep the attention for the rest of the year.
That is really, really interesting point. Thank you so very much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure. The gorgeous Rubina, skinfluencer Latif. Which one is it, my love? Who?
Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle. I think she's only just beginning. She's got
so right.
much there. She's only just started. That interview with Ellen, you know, we saw the real Meghan. I think that's the Meghan that Harry fell in love with. So I think she's only just started. We're going to see a lot more from Meghan Markle. And Meghan Markle, if you're listening, come back to London, come back to the UK. We need you as PM.
So from Robert Pulaski in Puerto Vallarta in Mexico, you've been an absolute joy and pleasure. It's Adele for you and whoever's going to be in the next concert. And for Rubina, the hottest Hollywood impactor for 2022 is Meghan Markle. Shock. Unbelievable. Have a fantastic afternoon, evening, and I'm going to sign off in a moment. You guys rock it. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. What a fantastic show. Just so much fun. I love the global aspect, and I love that you've joined us from all over the world. Next weekend, as I said, we have really a phenomenal show. I'm going to finish off with Jane Marshall, and it's about perseverance. What does it really take to get there? Wherever you are in this world, keep your feet on the ground, keep reaching for the stars, and I can't wait for you to join us next weekend when we have Jane Marshall herself coming on and talking about, as her book is printing, the naked truth about cancer. Thank you for joining us. Bye for now.
It feels so classic.